Welcome back to another video on the channel, and in today's video we've got Championship prediction. So I'm a Leeds fan. We were in the Championship for a long time, but since we have got promoted I've kind of lost track because it is hard to always be watching the Championship and the Premier League. But yeah, this is my Championship prediction, and if I do put your team in a position that you don't like, no hard feelings, it's just my prediction, and at the end of the day, what do I know? So, in 24th place, we've got Derby. Well, really, you could say Derby in the mud. They've lost senior players like Scott Malone, Curtis Davis, Martin Waghorn, and they're in financial problems. They've only got 9 first-team players, what's obviously not the best for them. And 2 of the 9 are goalkeepers as well. Wayne Rooney has just injured one, if not like Derby's star player, in Jason Knight. But honestly, with this team, I can't see Derby getting out of the relegation zone at least. So 24th for me with Derby. 23rd, Blackpool. Now, I didn't watch much League One football last year, but they just got promoted and have some good players like Jerry Yates, who bagged many goals from last season. But I had a look at the squad. They brought players like Richard Keown, who could help out the defence and the experience. And they got John Jaws on loan from Arsenal, what I think is a good loan signing. But looking at the squad overall, I just don't think the quality's all over the pitch there for them. So 23rd, Blackpool. 22nd, I've got another newly promoted team in Peterborough. Like Blackpool, Peterborough have only just got promoted, like I've just said, and have a goal scoring machine in Clark Harris, who was also up there in top goal scorers last season in League One. But I also don't believe they have brought in enough quality to challenge them with the other Championship teams. We've only bringing in players like Jack Marriott and Jorge Grant. But yeah, I mean, by the way, I'm looking at my PC a lot because before this I did write like some information down. But yeah, I just don't look at the squad. Like Blackpool, I don't think they have enough. 21st, this might be a bit of a shock. Preston. Now, Preston have just appointed a new manager in someone called Frankie McAvoy, I think is how you say it, who is not someone you would expect in the Championship team to appoint, as he's been the assistant manager of Alex Neil at Hamilton, Norwich and Preston. So I'm guessing he's going to be coming like in that same kind of style of play, but I don't think he's going to do as well as what Alex Neil did. I'm also not convinced with the quality in their squad, but they have signed Izzy Brown on a free from Chelsea, and if they keep him injury free, they could have a top player on their hands there. So yeah, 21st place, Preston North End for me. 20th, Coventry. Now, I do like the manager, Mark Robbins, and I think Coventry will not get relegated again, but this season is going to be more tight for them. I think it's going to be a lot more of a challenge. They have had a bright transfer window. They're bringing players like Waghorn from Derby and Simon Moore from Sheffield, but overall I just don't think the squad is enough to keep them out of a relegation battle. But yeah, I do think they'll stay up. So Coventry 20th for me. 19th, the 3rd promoted team, Hull City. Out of the 3 teams just got promoted, I'm most confident in Hull City, as they've got good players like Louis Coyle, Malik Wilkes and Josh McGuinness, and have also added strength in the team, signing players like Andy Cannon from Portsmouth I think, George Moncur and Randall Williams, who I believe will do a solid job in the Championship. So yeah, overall I'm saying Hull City 19th. 18th, Huddersfield. Now I've had a look at where other YouTubers and stuff have been putting Huddersfield, and they've all got them in the relegation zone. Now, the squad does look weak, but for me, as their manager is Carlos Corberan, ex-Leeds assistant manager, I do have faith in them, and if they club do give him time, I think he'll start to actually get some good results for them. But yeah, I think he's slowly getting the team better each year. He's kind of starting his own rebuild, and they have like rising talents. And I really rate that Josh Koroma, and they've just signed Jordan Rhodes, and them two up top could be a deadly duo together. They have got Lewis O'Brien, but he's been linked with my team Leeds, and another, I think it's Burnley as well. But yeah, overall, I'm sticking Huddersfield for 18th. 17th, Blackburn. Blackburn, after a good season last year, just seem a bit low of quality, and it's looking like Armstrong may be leaving, so they need to go out there in the transfer market and look for a suitable replacement. If Armstrong is staying, I would have them a little bit higher in the table. But they have got Ben Brereton Diaz, you could say, who had some good games in the South American Cup with Chile. But yeah, they've lost Elliott, who they had on loan last year. They've not brought anything, no one in yet. So yeah, 17th of Blackburn. I think it's going to be a bit of a poor season next year for them. 16th, Bristol City. Now Bristol City have had had a weak window so far. We're losing players like Jack Hunt, Henry Lansbury and Druidu, I think is how you say it, and not signing suitable placements. But they did get the experienced man from Leicester, Andy King. Now I think he'll be a proper leader for the team. But all in all, I'm not that confident in Bristol City this season, so 16th for me. 15th, Stoke City. Now, since Stoke City have been in the Championship, just not much has been working out for them. But they've signed 3 players, and one of them being a top signer, Ben Wilmot, who I believe will be very good for them next season. They also have a good manager in Michael O'Neill, but in all, I don't think their squad is strong enough to get any higher than 15th, really. 14th, Nottingham Forest. Forest had a really poor season last season, and I think it will be a slow rebuild to get them back into being a top Championship team. But if they stick with Chris Hughton, they will slowly get better every year. They have released a lot of players and only really brought one player in, so I'm going 14th for them. I think it's going to be improvement of quality than last year, but I don't know. 14th for Forest for me. 13th, Millwall. Now, I like Guy Rout. I think he's a good manager. And I think he fits perfectly in the Millwall way. And I do think they've had a strong window so far, bringing in Scott Malone, George Long, George Saville, Ballard on loan, and Afobe on loan too. So they have got a strong squad, but I think they will finish around mid-table. 12th, Barnsley. See, Barnsley is an interesting one, as they have lost their manager to another club and their club captain. They had a brilliant season last year, but losing 2 people in the club like that is going to be big. But they have signed Devante Cole, Obi Ulair, I think is how you say that, and Josh Benson, who could all do a solid job, but they have lost 2 key people, like I said, and I don't think it's going to be a strong season as they did last season, but I think they'll still do decent with some good young players at the squad. 11th, Cardiff. Cardiff are a very solid team, and they've had a good window with bringing in players like James Cullen, Ryan Wintle, and Giles on loan from Wolves. And for me, Cardiff are a team that will have good runs and bad runs through the season, but ultimately they'll finish 11th for me. Yeah, 11th for Cardiff. I'm not that confident in them pushing for the playoffs, really. 10th, Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough have had a busy window with lots of players joining and lots of players leaving. But overall, I do believe Warnock is a good manager, but has his team got what it takes to get into the playoffs? Maybe, but I'm not too sure, really. Kind of with similar to Cardiff, I'm just looking at the squad, not that confident, but can get into playoffs. But mid-table teams, I do say there. 9th, a bit of a shock, Birmingham. I think Lee Bowyer is a top manager, and with some of the signings they have made, like Chong on loan and Ryan Woods on a free. I think they can be like a mini dark horse potentially. So I believe ninth. And if they do sign more players in the window, they maybe like battling trying to get into the playoffs. But I've got them ninth here. Yeah. Eighth, Reading. Now it's an interesting one with Reading. They've lost a lot of players, but I do believe the manager is very good, and they have lost Elise, Amar Richards, and Estevez's loan has finished for the club. They have also not signed anyone yet, what is a bit of a worry, but they have heavily been linked with Kyle Edwards and Junior Hoylett, what I think would both be very good signings. But I do trust their manager, and I do think they do have a chance of reaching the playoffs, but I've just got them outside. Seventh, Swansea. They have just lost Steve Cooper and brought in Russell Martin from MK Dons. They have also lost one of their key players in Andre Ayew, but have brought in players like Pirro, I want to say, from PSV, sorry, Liam Walsh and Kyle Joseph. But this is not enough. But we've only just appointed a new manager. I'm expecting a few more signers to come in for the next few days. But I do think the squad is strong, and yeah, we'll just have to see. Now, sixth place, playoffs. This is where it gets interesting. Another dark horse for me. So I've got two more dark horses. Luton Town. Another dark horse for me because as they have had a good window, even though losing players like James Collins and Matty Pearce and Tunnicliffe, they have replaced them brilliantly with Henry Lansbury, Reece Burke, Alan Campbell, and I'll try and pronounce this, Fred Onyedinma. I think that's how you say it. And others. I also think Nathan Jones and Luton really fit well together. But yeah, I do think Luton will have a brilliant season. But yeah, fifth place. I've got Fulham. Now, it might be a bit of a shock because they've just signed Harry Wilson and Gazaniga, but I don't think their squad is fully ready. And after being moulded into Scott Parker's plans for the last 2 years, I think Silva may be changing too much at the club, and a lot of players there I think want to leave, like Zambo and Guissa. I think there's a lot of players there that I think they're better than the club, but they've obviously still got the squad strength, and I do think they'll get in the playoffs. Fourth, Bournemouth. Speaking of Scott Parker, I think Bournemouth have done wonders here in appointing him, and even though they have lost a few players, I think free signing of Emi Markandes is brilliant, and they've also got Leif Davis on loan from Leeds. So for me, Bournemouth have a real chance of going up, so I'm going to say fourth. Third, my dark horses seems to be everyone's dark horses really. QPR playoff as the playoff winners. You could say QPR. I mean, it's just hard really, isn't it? Because they've done a lot of business. They had a not poor, but they had a good end to the season last year, but made a lot of good business signing Andre Dozzell, Johansson, Charlie Austin, and Sam Field. But they have really made a statement in this window, and I think Mark Warburton got a big plan here and is going in the right direction. But yeah, they're my playoff winners because looking at the team looks really good, and I honestly do think they've got a chance. Second, Sheffield United. I believe physically they have the strongest team in the league, and if they can get Brewster and Musette scoring, that could be a deadly duo up front. They have obviously lost Lumsden to Rangers, but I don't think their squad is strong enough to go. I do think their squad is strong enough to go back up, and they are in the middle of negotiation with ex-Leeds player Ronaldo Vieira, who I do think will be a good signing. Was my favourite player when he was at Leeds. But yeah. First place, West Brom. For me, West Brom are going to be the champions with or without Matthias Pereira, and it's looking like it's definitely going to be without now. As he said, he definitely wants to leave. But they've made a brilliant free signing of Alex Mowat and brought a solid centre-back of Matt Clark on loan. They've got the best manager in the league in my opinion, and they have a very strong squad. So for me, West Brom will be champions. So yeah, that is my championship predictions for the season. So leave in the comments if you disagree with me, agree with me, anything you would change, and is there any future videos you want me to do similar to this. But yeah, anyways, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Peace.